If you've been designing a switch mode power supply, you may be turning to gallium nitride. This is a new technology that has a number of things you may want to consider. What are some of those considerations, Frederick?
Yeah, so using GaN switches and switch mode power supplies, I think, is really exciting. And the largest advantage of making the switch from a general MOSFET to a GaN switch is really power density and efficiency. So you can get much higher efficiency using a GaN switch compared to a regular MOSFET. But that higher efficiency also enables a more dense and tight and compact power supply because less heat has to be dissipated, right? So GaN, I think, really is the future in switch mode power supply technologies at most voltage levels, really.
But if it's so good, why is it so hard to get started with this?
Yeah, I mean, the idea has been around for a long time, but only within the last 8 or 10 years or so, actual switch mode power supplies were built using GaN technology. And then in the first few years, we had the issue that some of the devices were quite expensive, but also they were not as reliable as known MOSFETs that were on the market. And I think these two issues have changed quite a bit. And just recently, more and more switch mode power supply controller ICs were released that can directly drive GaN switches without having to take care of protection circuits around these switches to make sure they work reliably in a standard switch mode power supply application. So a lot of things have helped to make now the time to actually, realistically start the switch from using MOSFETs as power switches to GaN switches. And there's still, when you look at the different voltage ranges, I think a sweet spot really is around 100 volt or lower than 100 volt, but relatively high voltage. But GaN is moving down to lower voltages also, like in the 30 volt domain. And also we see GaN applications in the much higher voltage ranges of a few hundred volts. Yeah, so that's the status right now, the state, so to say.
Oh, good. Well, you cover a whole lot of other details in the article, so we'll let them read that. But thank you for filling us in on some of the general aspects of moving towards GaN for power supplies.